no! Our table! It's broken!
Yeah. Yeah. Don Brown. Bills Mafia. Yeah. You find us, we breaking the tables, we tailgating, breaking them tables. You know the mafia dangerous, you see us, we breaking the tables. We breaking them tables, we breaking them tables, we breaking them tables, we breaking them, breaking them. You find us, we breaking the tables, we tailgating, breaking them tables. You know the mafia dangerous, you see us, we breaking the tables. We breaking them tables, we breaking them tables, we breaking them tables, we breaking them, breaking them. You know them.
We're breaking the tables. I always forget to take the thing off the screen before we... Micah, you got to remind me of that. I always forget the title slide. I spend so much time on that, and
that's why it's fine. It deserves the love that it gets. It
does deserve. It is one of the few things about this program that has maintained the same. Is this beautiful little this title slide?
Look at the faded logos in the background.
The opacity is at 60%, but the vibes are at 100. Welcome into the Buffalo Bills pregame show, the Picasso's pregame show on the Crowd Assist podcast here. There's music playing from somewhere. Do you hear that? I don't even know.
I'm playing it. It's our background.
Oh, that's you. Oh, thank God.
Yep,
I thought I did something.
Good.
I didn't know what the hell I did.
We're locked in.
Oh, we are so locked in. So locked in that I have Picasso's Pizza waiting for me in the other room. Some of the best cup and char pepperoni that you can find on this side of the Mississippi. Back when I lived on Long Island, I say it all the time, they deliver nationwide. They deliver Buffalo-style pizza anywhere in this country. So if you are a Bills fan, and maybe you're dislocated, a displaced member of Bills Mafia, if you will,
someone send me some Picassos.
Someone send Micah some Picassos over there in Chicago. Micah, we've been talking a little bit here for the few minutes before we went live, and it seems like we have been getting ready for this game. We have been reading up on Bills-Rams specifically, basically for the past 3 months or so, because the entire NFL community has been looking at this. Are the vibes, is the hype exactly as you imagined it would be on this late summer evening?
Well, I woke up, like I shouldn't say barely slept, but kept waking up last night, woke up like very antsy, ready to go. So yeah, I knew it was a Bills game day. I've gotten used to, which weird to say, to the late games now after the last couple of years, getting used to it. The first couple of years I was like, damn, like how do we wait this long? But I'm still like, I've got on my TV here, I have the pregame show on. Finally, beautiful Sean McDermott interview with Melissa Stark right now, and it's starting to feel real, man. It's starting. Yeah, we're right around the corner. About an hour. I mean, I don't know if kickoff's gonna be right at 8:20 with all that banner raising and all that good stuff, but about an hour 15 away from the season. I never thought we'd have the Bills on an opening Thursday night game either. So it's a lot of different things going on, but I'm really just excited to see some football, see some real football, and it's gonna be a blast no matter what.
No, and something that's made me realize how real it is right now. And this is our first ever Picasso's fit check of this football campaign here. Look at Von Miller here in the Bruce Smith t-shirt, got the short shorts going, got that icy blue Bills hat. There is a reason that Von Miller, new defensive end going up against his former team, there's a reason that he is repping the Picasso's fit check here for week 1. Bills versus Rams.
Hell yeah.
And the spotlight's going to go ahead. What?
I'd only seen, I think Catherine Fitzgerald posted and said Von Miller warming up in the black t-shirt. I was like, okay, but that the fact that's the Bruce Smith t-shirt, I mean, he knows what he's doing.
No, it's tough. The one guy, my friend Faz in one of my group chats said Von Miller looks fucking badass right now. And I was like, man, I haven't done the fit check yet. I got to get that in there. So shout out Faz. Thanks for bringing Von Miller to my attention, as if anybody really had to do that, because he's probably the one player that might be getting more talk than Josh Allen coming into this game, going up against this old team. And, you know what? I'll save the Von Miller talk actually for the matchups to watch, because I think he is going to be one of the guys in a very advantageous position for tonight. But some guys who won't be in those positions, some guys on the inactives list, of course. No shock with Khalil Shakir and Cam Lewis, Quentin Morris, Tommy Doyle. But to me, Shaq Lawson, a bit of a surprise, because we know how much Sean McDermott loves to rotate his defensive line groupings, whether it's defensive ends or defensive tackles. And Jake, you said when we were heating up here to getting ready to go, you're also a little puzzled at Shaq Lawson not being active for this tilt here on Thursday night.
It's definitely interesting. Not expecting to see any defensive linemen taken out, and seeing that we're gonna have 4 running backs. I mean, if you're counting Taiwan Jones, going, shows what they want to do offensively, especially running the ball. We've heard about how much they want to be able to run the ball and everything this year. I think they're going to try to set that tone earlier. I'll get to that later on. But Joe Biscaglia giving his reasoning on the Shaq Lawson thing. So he's behind Basham and well behind Epineza at DN and doesn't offer much on special teams. So they gain the most out of Basham getting the reps in this game over Lawson. And also, I mean, throw these 3 guys into the fire. Basham, Epineza, and Rousseau are gonna have to, if the Bills want to win tonight. I think one of my biggest keys going into it, and I've talked about it, not even just for this game, but the success of the year, is going to be getting pressure with 4 from those guys up front. Yeah. And we're talking about Von Miller. One of those 3 other guys is going to have to step up. And if they want to throw him into the fire and see which one's going to come out and look good, this is a great opportunity for any one of those 3 to make a stand now, especially with Shaq not playing. So.
Yeah, and you bring up a really good point, and I guess we are just easily transitioning into keys to the game here, is that, Matt Stafford is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL against the blitz. If you blitz him, he has a better QBR than most quarterbacks do in a clean pocket. He knows how to find the open guy when pressure's coming at him. So yeah, getting pressure with 4, it's going to be a healthy rotation, and we're going to need these guys, these young guys, to finally come into their limelight here, step into the spotlight. And AJ Epineza, it's time. It's your time to take control of a football game. If there's any time to do it, he's had a slow start to his career, his second year, and this will be his 3rd year now with the Bills. Making a statement on a Thursday night, whether it's him, Rousseau, any member of this young defensive line, we say young when Von Miller is on it too. It's your opportunity to say, hey, Ed Oliver, sure, people know how good he is. He's made a name for himself. Von Miller, you're not the only good defensive end on this line. You're not the only one who's going to rack up the sacks here. So, if I'm going to have a key to the game, it's just getting someone other than Von Miller going. And Maniac put his keys to the game together, and here they are right here. Of course, take it one play at a time. Very Sean McDermott of him, but also very important to not let Aaron Donald attack anyone with a football helmet. Now, I personally am not shocked. And these keys to the game, of course, are brought to you by Labatt Blue Light, another amazing sponsor here. Shout out Labatt, shout out Picasso's, shout out Outlet Liquor. Man, we got a great family here at Trainwreck. Very lucky to have them. And we're very lucky to, not have the excuse of Aaron Donald not playing, because the Rams decided not to discipline him after he swung helmets at some Cincinnati Bengals players. Now, of course, the first person I'm going to blame in this is whoever decided to put the 2 teams that played in the Super Bowl on the same practice field in the offseason.
Yeah, so weird.
It's like the dumbest. It's the dumbest decision I think I've ever seen from who. Like, that's not a schedule maker. Like, who makes that?
No, that
call?
was the teams. That's
the
teams agree on that. Yeah, they're just like,
that's nuts.
Let's send it together. It's got to be I'm assuming it's the Zach Taylor and Sean McVay connection, because they're boys and they're like, oh, let's go hang out for a week. We'll practice.
Sure,
together.
we did see the Bills and the Panthers get together back when Ron Rivera was down there still.
But when you're in the Super Bowl, maybe that's the year you call it off.
You're like, take it off.
Yeah, you do take it off, but
yeah, my mom always said, go make some new friends. Stop hanging around with the same people. Enough with the Legos. Go play with the building blocks.
I was surprised, but also not surprised, because if the league's not going to do it, why the Rams? It is what it is. I mean, Aaron Donald is probably single-handedly the best player in the league. Pound for pound, whatever else you want to say. So. If they don't have to discipline him, I could see why they're like, we'll just handle it in-house. And probably you're just like, hey, probably the conversation, like, hey, Aaron, don't go swinging wildly anymore. And he's like, all right, cool.
Please.
And then we're there.
Please. Pretty please if you don't.
The game memes pretty great, though. They were pretty great.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. And I think that Aaron Donald against this offensive line is kind of another key or an important matchup to watch here, because, of course, we can rely on Mitch Morse and Deion Dawkins to do their thing. Ryan Bates, jack of all trades guy, kind of stepping into his first ever actual starting gig. And on the other side of the line at guard, Roger Saffold, who I think I have just as much faith in him as I do Mitch Morse and Deion Dawkins. And that's good because, we're not really going to see Aaron Donald be up against David Quessenberry at right tackle, which is puzzling, to say the very least. Puzzling for sure. I mean, I'm sure we all hoped that Spencer Brown might be coming back from his injury a little better than he has. So maybe it's a few weeks before we see him step into a starting role. But really, it's Aaron Donald on Ryan Bates, Mitch Morse, and Roger Saffold. And I'm not going to say that, Aaron Donald's not going to have an impact. I'm not going to say that he won't get a sack, because he probably will. But I feel good about those three being versatile, very athletic offensive linemen. And Aaron Donald, he's a football player, he's a defensive tackle, but he's just a fucking athlete. So based on who we have on the offensive line, I feel good about us at least minimizing Aaron Donald's impact on this game.
Cover One did a great breakdown too. Shout out to the guys over there of how much the matchup 2 years ago, Mitch Morse was used in that protection scheme. Just basically doubling anywhere Donald went, it was Morse snapping and then going to help out on Donald. He still broke through a couple times, but I don't think that he was really, an impact force during that game. Obviously, we were going to expect him to come through with a couple times, but the Bills did the Bills were up 28-3 in that game. Like, the Bills neutralized that defense very effectively a couple years ago. Obviously, different teams, different ways, different offensive coordinator, different offensive line coach for the Bills. So it's going to be a different strategy. But I think that you're right on that Mitch Morse especially is going to be the key, especially helping Saffold last year, who didn't have the greatest pass protection skills, but they're going to they have on that left side is the strongest side by far. And then we'll really get to see what Ryan Bates is made of. I mean, they gave him not a lofty contract, I would say, but definitely a decent sized contract matching that deal from the Bears. And you hope that this is the kind of game where he can hold up and be able to. I don't think you're ever going to push Aaron Donald around, but make enough that Josh is going to have time, not have Aaron Donald in his face the whole game, and to get this run game going a little bit, which I think Josh Allen has said in the preseason that is going to be more of a focus. I think Ken Dorsey wants to get the run game going. I think we know that Sean McDermott really wants to get that run game more consistent this year. And for me, looking at it, we looked at what they did last year in the opening week, and they basically spread out, barely run the ball, whatever. And it caused a lot of issues against a game-wrecking defensive line. They never were in sync at all in that game last year against the Steelers. So I wonder what they're looking to. I mean, I feel like they've kept every card close to the vest with what they're going to look like offensively, even James Cook wise and how they're going to deploy the backs and everything else. There's a lot of things I don't think we've seen from this offense. I think it was very vanilla so far, but it was effective when it was vanilla, which is the good thing.
And I'm happy you bring up James Cook, because I believe it was Ken Dorsey earlier this week who said something to the effect of, we'll see how much we get James Cook involved as the season goes on. We're just, we don't know exactly if the time's going to come where we need to deploy his skill set or something like that, something to that effect. Basically saying they're going to be very cautious, might not be the word, but diligent in the way in which they deploy him. I think that might mean that they have bigger plans for him as the more important parts of the season roll around.
Agreed.
So coach speak and what they do and transactions. We'll get to Dawson Knox soon, because that's obviously a big topic now, and how they plan on using certain players. But for those of you who have James Cook on your fantasy team, those of you looking at player props, he might not be the best bet for anything really in week one, because Motor always starts out as RB1. Zach Moss always comes out as the change of pace guy. And they never, obviously this is the first time in a while we've seen them actually have three running backs active, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, that James Cook's actually going to be utilized. So temper expectations. And if he doesn't have a big game, if he doesn't have a lot of targets today, it's honestly probably a good thing, because if he's getting a lot of targets, that means we're probably behind and we're in more passing down situations. So we'll save the overreactions on James Cook for future weeks.
Sure.
But what we can't save the overreactions for is Dawson Knox, because, it's the talk of the town. It's kind of the talk of the NFL, especially with everything he's gone through this offseason. Yeah. Dawson Knox coming back or staying in Buffalo for an additional 4 years on top of his rookie deal. So he's here through 2026. That means Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox all together until the year 2026. And I'm sure soon we'll be able to count Gabe Davis in there too. So really good cornerstones of this offense. And, I hopped on here with Maniac right when the news broke on Tuesday, I think it was, or maybe it was yesterday. So Tuesday. So I already said my piece on it a little bit before. What were your initial reactions to the Knox contract?
I think it's a great deal by Bean to get ahead of the market again. I mean, 13 million. I think Sal made the point on the Pat McAfee show yesterday that he's deserving of the extension right now, but it's also a projection of where they think he's going to be. And no one's going to be surprised if he's a top 10 statistical tight end in the league. I don't think Bills fans would be surprised if he's a top 5 statistical tight end in the league this year. And then that deal is going to look like a bargain. And I think they're looking at it as well to get ahead of the Darren Waller deal, because Waller is looking at a extension coming up soon. They think that that's going to be done in the next couple days. And if he sets the market, if he's getting, 14, 15 million, then Knox is going to be looking for that range. So I think that money is only going to go up over the next couple of years for the kind of deals. Get in ahead of it. You lock him in. It's going to look like a bargain in 2024, 2025 when this guy is, near an all-pro level, which I think that that's the trajectory he's on. I think that Bills fans would think that maybe, greater national media hasn't realized that yet, which they should because of the touchdowns and everything else, the effectiveness. But I think the dude has just gotten like every year, not even like little steps. Like he's taking big steps every year. Yeah.
Especially last year. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And we know that Josh loves him as a target, especially in the red zone and in those red areas. So yeah, it's a great deal. I think getting ahead of it, paying out ahead, and we know where their priorities are with these extensions. We've been talking about these extensions for these guys coming up. Knox is one of them. Edmonds, Singletary, Ed Oliver, Jordan Poyer, all these guys coming up are going to be talking extension in the offseason, and Knox was obviously the priority to get it done. So I'm glad to see it and glad that the guy is here. And like you said, everything that he's been going through, well-deserved good news. 31 million guaranteed hitting his bank account. I mean, I saw Quentin Morris say Christmas is going to be good this year.
Yeah, I saw that.
So happy for him more than anything, like that, because it's well-deserved, and I think he's going to prove it easily.
Oh, yeah. No, the one thing that I pointed out when I was talking with Maniac is he had more first down catches last year than he did in his first 2 years combined. He had, and I also believe more touchdowns than in his first 2 years combined. That one I might be incorrect on, but I actually have his Pro Football Reference pulled up still here. 9 touchdowns last year and 5 the previous 2. So, yeah, it's night and day. And you mentioned the Darren Waller contract coming up, but Dalton Schultz too, Mike Gesicki, Kyle Pitts in a couple years,
Freiermuth, all these guys. Yeah.
Oh my God, no! This as a bridge type of deal would have been a recipe for disaster. And in one of my group chats, I kind of made the point that it's very similar to the Tage Thompson deal. It's very similar. It's like betting on a freak physical athlete with one outlier year to just be a bigger part of what we're building here. And, the way that the game is going, athletic, dynamic, physical tight ends who can pass, catch, and block, they are dime a dozen. And the offenses that have them are really difficult to stop. I mean, the best tight ends in the NFL, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Darren Waller, Dalton Schultz, Kyle Pitts is, I guess, the outlier there, but he was just a rookie last year. It takes tight ends a very long time to make a huge immediate impact.
For sure.
But all in all, those offenses, Mark Andrews, all like top 10 offenses, bona fide, completely, 110%. The Falcons' offense was even pretty effective last year, probably doing parts of Kyle Pitts coming on. So it's the way the league's going. Getting a guy like him for a comparable rate to David Njoku is a fucking steal.
Take it every day. Take it every day.
Every goddamn day. Other things we'll be taking today. We do have some bets out there. We do have some bets that we want to be making tonight. Okay. Some player props possibly. You go first because I have a piece of chicken nugget stuck in my throat.
I have 5 different props that I'm looking at tonight. All Bills related, obviously. I'll start with the touchdowns. Gabe Davis, anytime touchdown. This feels like Gabe Davis has to score a touchdown tonight.
On this one.
I'm sure. It just feels, another favorite end zone target for Josh Allen. I think that one of the matchups that's going to be huge tonight is Jalen Ramsey and Stephon Diggs. Obviously, Ramsey's going to follow him around the whole field. I think, especially in the red zone, he's going to be effective, and they're going to make sure he doesn't do anything. So I think Gabe Davis I think that's my favorite bet of the night. Gabe Davis anytime touchdown. You mentioned Singletary though too, who's probably going to be RB1 and probably get 50% of the snaps, whatever. I think he's going to get the majority of the snaps out of the 3 running backs by far. I have him for an anytime touchdown. My friend messaged me earlier. I don't know what year this is, but a Bills running back hasn't scored in an opener since Mike Tolbert, apparently. So I feel like we're due.
No, Joe DiBiase tweeted that out earlier this week. Yeah, I remember that.
So we're due. We're due for a running back.
We're due for it, yeah.
We're due for it. And then I have some yardage props. Receiving yards, McKenzie over 29.5. I think he could do that in like 2 catches, especially if the rack in the offense is really what we've been hearing about. Give me that. And then Davis over 57.5. I just think the 2 receivers besides Diggs, like giving all the respect to Jalen Ramsey and just taking what the defense is giving him, I think those guys are going to have great opportunities tonight. And then the longest reception for players, over 17.5 yards for Dawson Knox. I think that we get at least a 20-yard catch from Dawson Knox. So those are my 5 props. I feel pretty good about all of them, honestly.
Okay. All right. So, you had me on the Gabe Davis anytime touchdown. Also had that one. Another one that I really like, plus money. Both teams to score a touchdown in each half.
I like that.
Plus 100. Plus 100. It was earlier today. So that's on FanDuel at plus 100. And the other one that I really liked, I don't have it in front of me at this exact moment, but it was Matt Stafford. I believe I liked the under on his passing attempts. I think it was about 36.5. Last year, the Rams were not able to really do the ball control, run heavy kind of approach that Sean McVay likes to do with his teams sometimes. And I think that this game, they are going to start trying to establish the run for better or for worse. Sean McVay is good at making in-game adjustments, and I think he will. But I think he'll do that at a certain point where Matt Stafford will likely not reach that magic 37 number to hit the over on that. So especially with his shoulder, I really don't think they're going to want him throwing a lot today.
And McVay loves running the ball. I mean, that's his first thing. Run the ball first has always been the McVay-Shanahan thing. Cam Akers fully healthy after his ridiculous comeback last season, but he definitely didn't look 100% when he came back. I think he's going to be effective tonight. Big test for the Bills' run defense that we haven't really seen. Obviously, they revamped it for this reason, so we'll see what they look like against a team that's going to want to run the ball the whole night.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we're winding down here on the Picasso's pregame show. We will get this Picasso's logo back up there for everyone to see. But I think it's about time we do predictions. Did I do it? My hand was out of we were close. My hand was just out of the screen, so whatever. Score predictions. We do have a contest going on our Twitter and Instagram right now. You comment, say the Bills score, get it correct, you win a signed Stephon Diggs jersey. So head over Instagram and Twitter. You can enter on both times. And you know what? You can do a different score on Twitter and on Instagram. Give yourself 2 good chances.
Get some options.
If no one wins, we're going to give away the shirt next week. We're going to keep doing it every week until we're able to give away the jersey. And if multiple people get the score right, next week, pick the total for the game, and whoever's closest will win the jersey. So it might not end tonight. It's definitely not ending tonight if more people win, or if no one gets it right. So
love it.
My score prediction, I love the over personally. I'm a big over guy, and I think this is a fantastic. Oh, the other receiver I like, Allen Robinson. I hate to say it, but I think he's going to have a good game against our younger cornerbacks. I think Dane Jackson is I think he's great, but he is still relatively inexperienced. Kyrie Lim, Christian Benford, going against a veteran like Allen Robinson, who is able to do so much with so little in Chicago. It scares me just a little bit. I like Taron Johnson, limiting Cooper Kupp. Don't love the rest of the guys limiting Allen Robinson quite as much. So if you're going to take any Rams receiver, I like Allen Robinson for it. And I think he's going to be a guy that keeps them in this game. I think he's going to be a big reason that this game is competitive. I have the Bills winning this one. What was my score? 33-31. I have the Rams covering. Okay. I have the Rams covering. I have the over. It's going to be a weird one. This game's going to be weird in a lot of ways. I can already feel it. It's going to be one that makes you uncomfortable at times. Your tummy's going to be churning, but we're going to be here for you. Micah, what's your prediction?
Well, if it follows the script of the first time these two teams met not first time, but met a couple years ago, I mean, it was absolute chaos. Very excited to see like 70% Bills fans or whatever is going to be in the stadium tonight. It looks like I've long waited once they announced this game. We're gonna get the shot of the banner raising and then the Bills flag right behind it because that's I just can't wait for that.
I can't wait. Okay, so we have an intern who's gonna be cutting up these shows, and I need that intern cutting that up already so that I'm so excited for that.
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful.
All right,
so you brought up one of my biggest matchups, which is Allen Robinson versus Kyer Elam or Dane Jackson, whoever takes that role for most of the night. Because Allen Robinson's going to be unleashed with the Rams this year. Dude has been playing with the worst quarterbacks in the league the last couple of years collectively.
So underrated.
For the talent that he is. Like, this guy should be, like, in a top 15 wide receiver in the league, honestly. I think that's the talent. Been watching him since his Penn State days. The guy's electric. I think he feels rejuvenated and everything. And this is a juicy matchup for him. Like you said, it's going to be Taron Johnson on Kupp. Kupp's going to get his tonight, but I think Taron Johnson's going to do a great job. All things considered, dealing with a guy like Cooper Kupp. We already talked about we already talked about the interior O line against Aaron Donald, so I think that kind of talked through that a little bit. But Josh Allen with Bobby Wagner and Jalen Ramsey, I think Josh Allen and Bobby Wagner, even just in general, the pre-snap, everything else. We haven't seen what Bobby Wagner can do with this team, but we know how freaking incredible. Right now, The Rock is talking to Jim Kelly. That is just something I've never thought of would have imagined.
That's a Mad Lib for 2022. It's
amazing,
right
amazing. So my keys of this, I mean, obviously, neutralizing Aaron Donald, the biggest key of the game, establishing the run game. It's been a focus of all offseason that they've talked about. Hopefully that we can see that actually come to fruition. It'll open up so much for the Bills. And turnovers. I mean, turnovers are going to be the biggest thing in this game. If the Bills start turning the ball over, if the Rams start turning the ball over, both these offenses are so good. If they end up with ball in plus territory on sudden changes like that, it's going to be really difficult for the other team, for the team turning the ball over to win the game. I have the Bills. I have the under slightly.
Wow.
And I have the Bills 31-20. I think that
31-20. That's a blowout.
That's
a thwomping, I would say.
The bend but don't break Bills defense will be back in full force, and the Rams will get good drives. They'll have high yardage throughout this game, but they'll be counting 2 field goals, 2 touchdowns to get to 20. And the Bills offense, I think, is going to be hitting on all cylinders and be basically in control this whole game. I expect a quick start from the Bills, get up early, and then kind of cruise along and be able to run the ball and manage the game. And it's going to be a different, not as high flying as people expect, but I think that's what this Bills team is going to be able to do, win whatever way it takes this year. They're so multiple, so deep at all these positions. That's always been my thought. I've been thinking like 27. I was thinking 27-10, 27-13 earlier in the week, but I'm going to give the Rams more of those drives to get down close, but then that Bills defense holds in. So 31-20 is where I'm sitting at.
All right. Well, maybe I don't know if we'll be right. Maybe the guys on Twitter and Instagram are going to be right. Again, we're giving away a signed Stephon Diggs jersey if you predict the score correctly and comment it on our Twitter or
right there. There you go.
That guy. That's a beautiful piece of artwork right there.
It is beautiful. Shout out my mom for buying me that print because it'll be on here every game. So
shout out Mama Micah. Look at that. Well, if you think you know how this one's going to go, make sure you comment it on Twitter or Instagram so you have a shot at winning that Stephon Diggs jersey. Also, slight shout out to one of my clients and someone who's done some stuff over with Trainwreck, Clydesfield Animal Center. They are giving away some pet Bills jerseys. If you got a dog or a cat that you think would look dapper as fucking a Diggs jersey, go over to Clydesfield Animal Center. They're giving away one too. More over there. A little shameless plug for my day job and a great friend of the program in Clydesfield Animal Center. Any shout outs before we get out of here, Jake?
Shout out everybody back home that is locked in for this game. I'm sure the city is basically shut down right now,
more or less,
as it should be. We're here,
it's
baby.
Like March 22 all over again. Yeah.
biggest season. I mean, most anticipated season in at least 30 years, but maybe ever with being Super Bowl favorites. Everything else, enjoy the ride, people. That's all I have to say. We're gonna have ups and downs. A lot. Even tonight, there's gonna be ups and downs. Enjoy the ride, and I feel good. I feel great going into it. This is the best I felt going into any season ever. So.
Yep.
I'm hoping that night one lives up to that.
No, this is the first Buffalo football season that I'll be actually watching in Buffalo since 2018. I moved away in 2019 in the spring, and then I had one almost normal season. I was able to come back to see some games. Then we had the COVID season, and then last year was like a half COVID season. Like it's been a long time coming for me to actually be able to watch football in Buffalo, actually be able to see it on the television on a normal channel. Now, let alone on prime time. Dream come true. Hope everyone out there is enjoying it just as much as we will tonight. And again, enter our Stephon Diggs jersey. Going to be doing a bunch of stuff. Stay tuned on Crowd Assist Pod on Twitter. And we also got new branding over there on Twitter that we got to bring into the YouTube.
Oh, it's beautiful.
But shout out. We'll go over there, see that. That'll be in the next show. But shout out Picasso's. Shout out Outlet Liquor. Shout out Labatt. Shout out Von Miller, Picasso's Fit Check winner of Week 1. And
who else?
Yeah.
Who else? I can't fucking wait to see Von Miller in a Bills uniform. I've been waiting since the 2011 draft. If you ask my dad, I talked my ear off about Von Miller in 2011. So I was like, I just want Von Miller. He's perfect. He's incredible. Was so shocked when the Broncos took him. And like he said in multiple interviews, feels like the Bills have been trying to choose me for this long. It just feels like it's perfect. I can't wait to see him in a Bills uniform. Can't wait to see Josh Allen. I mean, the Josh Allen love fest, really, it's been going on all summer, but here it is. Let's see how it rolls, because you know that there's like at least 7 national pundits just waiting to dunk on the Bills tomorrow, and I hope that we don't have to hear that. I hope that it's going to be all roses going into our very long time in between Thursday night and next Monday.
Yeah, that's the thing that worries me the most right now is if this game doesn't go well, we have 11 days.
It's a long time. It's a long time.
Wait, no, 12 days, right?
Yeah.
Thursday to Monday? Oh, Lord, that's going to be terrible.
A lot of discourse if it goes poorly, so let's hope for the best here.
Expect the worst, hope for the best. That's the motto here on the Crowd Assist Podcast. Thank you, Micah, for being here for the Picasso's pregame show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. For Picasso's, Outlet Liquor, Labatt, myself, and all of Trainwreck Sports, go Bills.
Go
Good
Bills.
night now.